So recently, Amanda Seales made some comments on this show, The Witch's Coven. I'm sorry, The Real, about Jussie Smollett and essentially defending him. And then she tries to turn it into a racial thing, which is quite ironic considering Jussie Smollett tried to fake a hate crime and blame white people for it. So I'm gonna play a little bit of the clip and I'm gonna comment on it.
Why aren't they bringing charges against the two brothers?
Well, I think why aren't they bringing charges against all the white people that call the cops for BS every single day? And there's that too. The whole issue. Every single day.
What do white people have to do with this story? I don't understand what she's saying with the white people that call the cops for BS. What white people are running around faking hate crimes, saying that black people dressed up, attacked them, and hung a rope around their neck and poured bleach on them? I don't know any white people that did that, but okay. And here is where she really just completely goes off the rails and tries to say that what he did was noble.
There's no victims. They can't really prove it.
Thank you.
Everything was
even if it was a hoax. Even if it was a hoax, this is really happening all the time. And even if it was a hoax for the sake of bringing attention to this, then I'm like, that's low-key noble. Like,
Low-key noble how? Jussie Smollett wasn't bringing attention to anything but himself. He was trying to get a raise from the show Empire because he felt that he was underpaid. He wasn't fighting for homosexuals or black people. And basically what he wanted to do was get himself some exposure, get money, and then go run around with Kamala Harris because he considers himself an activist. So he was trying to, blame Trump and blame white people, and had people actually believed him, and if he didn't get caught, he would have been parading around. That you would have seen him at these Democrat conventions, and he would have been up there talking about how he's a victim of Trump's America and how Trump supporters attacked him because he's homosexual and because he's a black man in this country. That's exactly what he would have done. So I don't understand how, but she's obviously mentally ill.
I'm at my wit's end about us centering situations like this and wanting to make people have to pay. And it's like, Emmett Till's accuser was alive. I think she's still alive.
Yep. Yes,
and this young man died, and she announced that she was lying about it. They should have put the shackles on her that day.
Emmett Till was in the 50s. So should she have been arrested back then? Yeah, of course. But the country was obviously very different back then, and it was completely wrong. If that happened today, that woman would be in jail. So I don't understand how she's making this comparison. And but this is what these stupid liberals do. They make these comparisons that have nothing to do with anything, just to try to make their point. You can see how loud and aggressive that she is. She's one of these people that thinks that the loudest person in the room is the one who actually won the argument.
And she's walking around. So no one was hurt in this situation. Nobody. You know what they're mad about? Their time, their resources being used, taxpayers' resources. Taxpayers' resources are being used every day to imprison people who have done nothing but be an addict. So I don't want to hear about Jussie Smollett. Okay, but
what is she I see. This is what I don't understand about her. Like, so what is she talking about? Oh, well, because people are getting arrested, we shouldn't arrest him. Like, what he did was completely wrong, and he faked the hate crime, and it's gonna make it more difficult for other people who actually are victims to come forward, because people will be very skeptical about it. But she just completely glosses over that.
So what do you feel about people that feel that, well, what if a hate crime really happens to me, and now because of what Jussie Smollett did, now they don't believe me?
If this one instance is what makes them not believe you, baby, that's a lie that they're telling ourselves. We have lived in a nation where they don't believe hate crimes every day. Every single day.
Sure. But I think
what hate crimes are happening every single day? You mean to tell me every single day black people are getting lynched and bleach thrown on them every single day in America? What country is she living in? Not the United States, clearly.
But I just want to ask, I just want to ask, because Jussie is it is huge nationwide news because he is famous. So if it was a hoax, what do you think is the correct punishment? And do you think he should be?
They got murderers on probation.
Sure. But I'm asking about Jussie Smollett. I'm asking about
murderers on probation. What does that have to do with anything?
That because you said it was low-key noble. I just want to understand.
It literally should be like,
he should be applauded.
Damn. they got smacks on the wrist for all these people, and they can't give a smack on the wrist to Jussie Smollett, like, because they're saying that it's a whole big thing. I don't believe it.
Sure.
And we look at black men who are constantly getting the book thrown at them all the time.
See, she's dealing with pure emotion and no facts, which is very, very typical of these loudmouths.
So this one should be like.
So I'm like, all the false outcry, it's just because he's famous and partly because he's gay as well. And I feel like...
What the fuck does him have him being gay have anything to do with it? People are upset with him because he's gay? How ridiculous is that? People within his own community think that he's ridiculous and he's an idiot for doing what he did. Drawing attention to himself. What is she talking about? It's because he's gay, because he's black. Like, give me a break, man. But again, this is a typical loudmouth liberal woman. These, so-called woke women that all they do is scream and shout, and they shout everybody else down. Nobody else can get a word in. And they think, because I'm louder than everybody, I won the argument.
At this table and act like, he should be handled the way that he should be handled. Like, they're not handling people who need to be handled the way they should be handled. So why are they trying to do it together?
That is absolutely true. Yeah. And I don't think it's okay to also stage a hate crime.
It's not okay.
We can't ever do that. So we have to handle this accordingly as well.
What do you think should happen?
I think that if 3 years sounds about right, some things have to be done. I feel like they should figure out if it happened or if it didn't. Hold on. Because that's honestly
You think this man should be in prison for 3 years for hoax?
First of all, we know that if he was actually in prison for 3 years, he's not going to do 3 years. I
think he should be in prison for life. I think that Jussie Smollett is actually a threat to national security. Get him off the street. We got to sit this guy down for at least 10 years. She doesn't want any time.
3 years sounds about right.
No, he needs to be punished. So I think that at least.
And then you got that idiot Adriana Blyalone saying, I just want to know if it really happened. Really? You're questioning whether or not that happened or it didn't happen? Now you're going to see Amanda Seales reveal herself to be a racist right now, and it actually gets way worse.
Obviously, this happens everywhere, and this all should be handled accordingly. But we can't just let this slide because
they are letting people who do real hate crime slide every day.
I recognize that.
Burger King.
What people are sliding every day for doing hate crime? She has not. She's talking out of her ass completely. Apparently, according to her, in this country, every single day, people are getting away with hate crimes. So we should let Jussie Smollett get away with faking a hate crime. Okay, that makes sense.
But that's not right. How do you make it that it's not right? How do you make it?
You don't start with making it right with the people who are always treated wrong. So that's my thing. You don't start with, you don't start with doing it right with the people who are always treated wrong.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you're wrong, you're wrong. So basically, it's okay to fake a hate crime as long as you're a person of color. But the only people that really need to be prosecuted for actually doing the hate crimes are people that are white, according to her.
Like, there's no such thing as a hate crime for white people. Like,
how does that make any sense? Listen to what she said. There's no such thing as a hate crime for a white person. So if a white person gets beat up for being white, it's not a hate crime. That right there shows you that she's a racist and she has some sort of a chip on her shoulder and some sort of a vendetta against people that don't look like her.
So as far as I'm concerned, like, for white people who are not LGBTQ,
okay, you see, now she catches herself. She catches herself here because then she turns it around and says, well, you can be a victim of a hate crime if you're white as long as you're part of the LGBTQ plus to infinity group. Then you could be a member of a hate crime. That's the only exception, is if you're part of that group. This is so utterly ridiculous. This woman is mentally ill and deranged.
So my point is, I'm so passionate about this because I feel like we always want to start, like, handling things properly with the folks who are at the bottom of the totem pole.
Using them as the example.
But
how do you feel about white gay people who have experienced?
No, that's why I had to correct myself and say no, like, unless you're a member of the LGBTQ community. So I'm just saying that, like...
Oh, if you're gay, you could be a member of you could be a victim A victim of a hate crime. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay.
like in the space, because this wasn't just about a hate crime against being LGBTQ. In the report, you know, what he was saying was that he was also called the N-word, etc. So it covered
Of course.
a number of issues.
That's a whole nother topic when it comes to black men or black people.
So what would have happened if, let's say, they came across a couple white people who matched the description of Jussie's attackers? They would have went to jail. They would have been falsely imprisoned, and their lives would have been ruined because of this man. But that's okay because they're white.
People in the LGBTQ community. That's a whole nother issue that we have. But I
a lot of alphabets.
Yes. But I just think back to my friends that actually got hurt and my friends that were killed. And
they should have
been.
And they didn't have any
I got a question.
There was a disbelief that hate crimes happen towards people in the LGBT.
I got a question.
So
why do you think in our community they are making fun of Jussie?
Because he's gay.
So now she's trying to say that black people are homophobic. This woman, oh man, Jesus Christ. Listen, let me tell you something. This is the perfect example of a loudmouth liberal woman who's just running on pure emotion, no facts, screams over everybody. I'm the loudest person, so I'm right, I win, and everybody else is intimidated by her. So, and everyone's just quiet. They're scared, and then she's always gonna pull the race card. Now she's trying to pull the gay card. I don't know if she's gay herself. I don't know her situation, but you know, for men, you know, that are watching this is exactly the type of woman you need to stay the hell away from. This is a woman that'll get you jammed up, that'll ruin your life, and just run far away. And the sad thing is, you know, she's like, you know, semi-attractive, you know, but as soon as she opens up her mouth, she goes right down to a zero.
Dave Chappelle and a lot of people, you know, they say that it's a hoax and things. Do you think that that
people
helped
made fun of us.
to
We
it?
defended him, and people made fun of us.
People made fun of you guys because you guys are a bunch of idiots. You guys are a bunch of woke morons in an echo chamber that are out of touch with reality and just want to play to your crowd, which is the far left feminist. That's why people are making fun of you, because you guys are idiots.
About Jussie, and I got made fun of. I was told to take the post down, and it's still there because I still think this represents that we still have to have attention towards people in that community that are dealing with this every single day. I didn't take it down.
Oh, good.
No, I didn't take it
They
down
need to
because
know.
they need to. Yes, exactly, and that's why I'm just saying.
Yeah, they need to know what? That you're an idiot?
This example for Jussie, I want we need justice. We need the right thing to happen. Obviously, we need the truth to come out. But if he did stage a crime, there has to be a punishment for that.
This is
and then we also need to have justice for all those crimes that actually did happen.
And there isn't.
Or didn't happen.
Chicago police are putting so much energy to this. Mind you, Chicago
Been saying that.
been going through hell for so long. Chicago police had an entire torture unit.
Yes.
That was clandestine from people forever. So for them to be trying to trump this up like it's something of value or so enormous or such an issue.
Democrats run Chicago, by the way. Chicago's a very liberal city, so, I mean, these are minor details, of course, though.
That it needs to be handled is a gross misuse of power and justice.
Yes, I understand that.
And we shouldn't act like it's that. It's the same.
And I'm still
trying to figure out what happened to Monica Jenkins in the fridge.
Thank you.
Yes, but I also want to say
Thank you.
that there are
Because they ain't putting energy into that.
Y'all know about Tanika Jenkins?
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm just saying that was Chicago and they couldn't figure that out either. My point is, why can't they prove if this happened or didn't happen?
Right.
And
because,
there you go.
like she said, yes.
Well, we're
All
going
right.
to keep
They're on their way to proving it because that's the reason why he got indicted. Anyway, okay, that's enough of that. I just wanted to show you guys, you know, the liberal lunacy of this woman, Amanda Seales. I mean, this show, The Real, is just a nightmare. They make that show, what the hell is the name of that show? The View. Yeah, they make The View look like a bunch of scholars in comparison. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Mike from Bensoners. Keep banging.